All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Ryan Bowling here. Just real quickly, going to go through a few things for everybody for this training. Real quickly, I'm going to go through this enroller meeting presentation that everybody should have access to in the Dropbox for every call center, and then all the face-to-face enrollment here in Kansas City. You all have access to this information as well, and you were present at the training. So if you've already seen this, you can skip forward on this YouTube and get to the training for Employee Navigator, which I will get to here shortly. But just wanted to give you all a few highlights. Again, I appreciate everybody helping out with this enrollment. And at any time, if you have any questions um, during the enrollment, feel free to email myself, Laura Bowling, or Stacy Schauder, and their information's in the enrollment guide, as we've discussed before in the past. So feel free to email or call us with any questions, and we should be available to get back to you pretty quickly. Anyway, real quickly, 2018 open enrollment, Wireco World Group, located again in Kansas City is their headquarters, locations in Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Pennsylvania, and Wyoming. The call center will be receiving phone calls from Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania, and with some cleanup for the locations in Kansas and Missouri, which will start next Tuesday. As you can see on this enrollment meeting, or the enroller meeting guide, which is separate than the actual benefit guide, there's actually script on here because they use this to make a brain shark. So if you just want to read through it, pretty much get all the details you need to know. A couple big points that we discussed, key changes for this year. There will be a new HR Resources Center. It's an online website that will not be ready until the first of the year. So if anybody has any questions about that, it'll be started January 1st. New this year, one-to-one enrollments in call center, as we're all familiar with. They wanted us to mention, if necessary, that in quarter one of 2018, there is going to be a full-blown dependent audit by a third party. So this is essentially the employee's opportunity to make it right as far as adding their dependents. And you'll notice on the guide and inside of here, there is an actually outline of what is truly considered a dependent. So if any employees are adding dependents, just make sure they know the meaning of that, and that they will have a true audit coming up Q1. Plan change names, this really isn't that big of a deal, except for the fact that when you do look on the Excel spreadsheet to see what they were previously enrolled in, you will notice that they were called a premium plan, which is now called the BIA plan, and if they're enrolled in the base plan, that's actually the traditional PPO plan. And there was also an HSA, or health savings account. Tier consolidation, so essentially what that means is last year the employees were, depending on salary were broken down in 4 tiers. This year now they're in 2 tiers, under $60,000 a year and over $60,000 a year, and that correlates to how much they're paying for the actual plans themselves. By doing this, they are generally, for the most part, the lower paid employees are realizing a drastic savings, and then the folks that are highly comped are seeing a little bit of increase on their premiums. So for the most part, though, it's a good thing for everybody. The tobacco surcharge used to be dependent on a couple other different factors. Now this year, if they fall into a tobacco rating, it's just an $80 per month cost, or excuse me, additional cost to their plan, which is already built into the Employee Navigator system. Health savings account money is updated. They used to be kind of all across the board. Now it's just flat, $500 for employee only and $750 for anybody that has more than just themselves. So they have a dependent or multiple dependents. That's put in, the entire amount is put in January 1. So that's a new thing. That's a neat deal. Just a sidebar on that, conversations with the broker and the client, they would like to see a drastic change in more folks enrolling in the HSA. So we really want to focus on moving associates from the PPO plans or the copay plans over to the HSA account. The addition of the new voluntary plans should help assist that. As we all know, if the employer's contributing these dollars, they should absolutely be in the HSA plan with a $2,700 deductible, putting $500 in there. It's a great deal for a lot of folks. And then new this year, they're breaking out the medical and dental. Previously, it was always put together inside the premiums. So if you get a little bit of pushback from the employees as far as why do I have to pay for dental now? You used to get it for free. Well, you didn't really get it for free. It was actually baked into your cost. So there is a premium on it now. But it also allows for more choices, allows the employee to only take dental, only take medical, take both, take none. So it's a little bit, it's a better deal for everybody. Then, of course, the new Voya benefits that we'll talk about. Again, you can read through the script. There's the Resource Center, again, January 1. So if they try to go there before there, it won't be there. All about choices. That's their basically their theme for this year. Dependent audit coming up, we discussed that. Here's a definition of eligible dependents. So you can review that. Medical plan, again, talks about eligibility, dependent eligibility, network, pre, post tax, carrier. All this is in the system itself. Now, HSA, again, we want to move as many folks as we can to that HSA if possible. PPO outlines. Sorry if I'm going through this quickly. Don't want to bore everybody. If you can do it, look at it on your own. Monthly premiums, again, I did save in the Dropbox last year's premiums, and you'll see a big change. For instance, on the single Tier 1 HSA account, I believe it went from like $115 a month down to $60. So there's some huge savings if we can get folks over to that HSA. Use those additional dollars to put towards their HSA or, of course, purchase some Voya voluntary products. The dental plan, again, it's now separate, paid for by the employee. As you can see, it's minimal cost, $10 a month, or $25 for family. Vision voluntary plan. Now, this also brings me to another point. If you do talk to an employee that is a union employee, there's only a couple, roughly about 40 to 50 total. The union employees are only eligible for medical and dental. They're not eligible for vision or the Voya voluntary products. Now, they do have employer paid life and STD, LTD, employer paid, as do all associates. The union plan is a little different than the associate plan. None of this is in the system itself. So I'm going to save it in Dropbox so you have access to it. But if they have a lot of questions, refer to your HR department. We're really they wanted us to avoid much conversation about that. Along those same lines, they just recently did the vision enrollment and Vol Life enrollment in July. So it is not open to make any changes right now. You will have access to in the Excel spreadsheet that tells you if they have what medical plan, dental plan, vision plan they have. It will also list out how much Vol Life they have. So you can refer to that if they ask the question, but again, no open enrollment until next year, the end of 2018. So if you have any questions about the union folks, feel free to give me a call. Call center, I don't foresee you all getting many of those folks calling in. But it would already be in the system, so you don't. It'll pop up. In fact, you will notice that when you get into the enrollment for a union employee, vision and the Voya products won't even show up at all. Of course, if they're on the copay plan, they can contribute to FSAs. We do have, again, a list of what they contributed last year to an FSA. It's in the Dropbox. Standard rules. Looks like they stuck with the 2600, not the 2650. So that's how the system's set up. Dependent care FSA, of course, and then limited purpose for those that want to max out their HSA or if they just want dollars. Again, the benefit of a limited purpose FSA is that you get the dollars right away. If you contribute $2,000 or whatever it may be, you get to use them January 1, even with an HSA, and they do have the rollover. Nothing's changing there. We are going to enroll them in the FSA, HSA, dependent care, and limited. The new voluntary products, I know it was mentioned that on the open enrollment guide, I didn't have much information on there. apologize. I'll get that updated. The brochures are in the system and in Dropbox. Everything's post-tax. The accident, critical illness, and hospital indemnity are all post-tax benefits, so no benefit is taxable. Non-union benefits, again, the accident plan is pretty straightforward that we're used to, everybody's used to. Please just review the brochure. Critical illness plan, how that's going to work. It's going to be a little unique. The employee, it is a lump sum benefit. The employee is going to have an option of either a $10,000 or $20,000 benefit, just those two, 10 or 20. And if they choose the spouse plan, then on the $10,000, the spouse benefit is $5,000 and the dependent is $2,500. If the employee chooses the $20,000 plan and they want to put their spouse on there, the spouse automatically gets $10,000 and the dependent gets $5,000. I'll spell that out a little more in a separate email. But again, $10,000 or $20,000 for the employee, and then if the spouse is half, so $10,000, spouse is $5,000, and then the dependent is $2,500, $20,000, $10,000 for spouse, $5,000 for dependent child, and we'll show you that in a minute. Hospital indemnity coverage, it has a lump sum for your first day in the hospital and then a daily benefit, $150 a day, as you can see, with $300 a day of intensive care. Big key on these plans, guaranteed issue, no pre-existing conditions. So day one, they can use the plan. They can literally be a tobacco user, have already had heart attacks, planning on going to the hospital overnight stay, already pregnant. They will get paid a benefit. So no pre-X, very big. And again, it hits a little bit on short-term, long-term, and life, all paid for by the employer. We're not discussing anything about the 401k. Be a better consumer, just some fun stuff there. So again, that was quick, and you can review that in the Dropbox. Now we'll jump real quickly over to the Navigator site, so we'll walk through that. Again, for those of you that are not familiar with it, you should have already received a login credentials, and you hopefully have gone in and reset your password. Please do that. If you have not gotten it, please email me and let me know. We'll get you set up. It's a very easy system if you have not been on there. EmployeeNavigator.com, that's where you're going to want to go. Click login. You will use your specific Wireco enrollment. So those of you that have other logins, again, we need to use this one that is specific for this particular group. Log on in, and when you log in as an enroller, this is going to be your screen. All you have access to is finding the employee. If the employee is not in the system, please call us immediately. Let us know. We'll get with HR to add them because we have to add them. Unfortunately, as an enroller, you do not have that access. If we start seeing a drastic amount of these folks, a lot of folks not in there, we will resort to making sure they're getting in there. But if they are not in the system now, just call us and we'll get you set up. But just to show you what an employee, so again, search by last name. I just want to show you real quick what, like for instance, Sean Kirby here. You may notice, we're going to try to get this cleaned up, but you may notice a profile incomplete. This does not affect anything on your enrollment. But generally, you would pull this employee, click open enrollment, and get right into the enrollment. I don't want to mess with this particular employee, so I'm going to go to test. You all can use Sally non-smoker or Sally smoker all you want. I don't know why we have two of those, because I'll show you in the system how we determine that. You'll notice that Sally's, both the Sally tests have either new hire or open enrollment. So essentially, you're going to pull that employee, you're going to click on open enrollment, and boom, we're right in there. All right, so the first, whoa, Sean Kirby, hold on a second, give me a minute. I don't want Sean Kirby's. All right, there we go. Sally Smoker. Here we go. Sally Smoker test. So if you could, first screen is always going to be their personal information. First thing, please review it with the employee. We've had some issues with the census we got about genders coming over, so just confirm their gender. Um, Confirm date of birth, might as well. And then, of course, address, and update any addresses if necessary. Go ahead and review. We're going to upload the dependents, so go ahead and review the dependents. Um, and if you don't mind, if you've got some time, go ahead and click on that particular dependent, edit, and let's just make sure that their gender is correct in there. We don't need most of this other information. We have as many socials as we've been given. If they're enrolling a dependent, please ask for the social. They should be bringing them, but if they don't, it will allow you to pass through, and we can do that on the back end. Let's go ahead and get the enrollment done while you have them, access to them. Again, just kind of confirm dependents. We want to make sure that, again, their audit's coming up Q1, and we just want them prepared that they're aware of what's coming up. So after we review that, we want to save and continue, and then the next thing, you just want to click on the benefits. Now, traditionally, when you get in here, these will not be check marked. They'll actually be hollowed out, kind of an O with nothing in the middle. Since we've all been messing around with this test employee, it's already got check mark. But again, Employee Navigator is pretty easy to work with. You just go ahead and click on. We want to make sure we click through each of the benefits as we go through this. Now, it's been asked before. Now, again, these are tobacco, non-tobacco. The tier that we talked about earlier, the tier 1 under 60,000 or tier 2 over 60,000, that determines their rates. The tiers, it's already going to be figured out. We already have their salaries, so you don't have to mess with that at all. You will have to ask them about their tobacco status. Since we've already messed with this particular test employee, it already knows that she is non-tobacco. In this case, when you're messing around with it, or if you accidentally already clicked one and need to go make a change, the answer to that is right here. View my answer. And it's also down here. You'll notice that my Blue Cross Blue Shield tobacco plan, I'm not eligible for it because I said that I'm non-tobacco. So you can click here to look at my responses. So generally, when you get in here the first time for medical, you're going to go ahead and click. Once you click on the plan they want, this is going to pop up. Say you've got to answer the questions. So we need to answer this questions. Do you or your spouse applying for coverage currently use tobacco, yes or no? Or you or your spouse tobacco of any kind? Oh, cessation program. This should be switched around. Anyway, it has been told to us by the client that we are going off of their word. So again, employee can be tobacco user. They can say that they are in the cessation program, so we want to move them to no and no. That means that they get the non-tobacco rates. If they are still a tobacco user and went through the cessation program in 17, we enroll them as non-tobacco, but then we tell them, hey, you're going to have to go through the same biometric next year to get your keep your rate where it's at. So just keep that in mind. We're just going off the word of the employee. So what you'll notice is when I keep it at no and no, then I've got my non-tobacco options. If I did move this to yes and no, I'm not in the cessation program, and yes, I am a tobacco user, the tobacco benefits are going to come back up. So we want to enroll them in the tobacco plan. HSA, tobacco, buy up tobacco. Shouldn't allow me to enroll in this one, but let me check on that. But anyway, after you answer the question, it will lead you into the right benefit. So let me go back. No and no. Again, non-tobacco, you're not allowed to enroll those. So I want to choose the plan, whichever plan I would like to get enrolled in. This is my per pay period. Now, if I need to add a dependent, again, I have my whole family on this plan. If I want to take those folks off, you'll see that the premium will automatically update to employee only. If I have my children on here, employee and child. So it'll do it automatically for you right up here. Again, if we need to add dependents, you'll go back to my profile screen and add dependents so we can put them on the plan. So after I choose a particular plan I want to enroll in, in fact, I'm going to enroll in the HSA plan. So I can show you what that looks like. So I'm going to save that plan. So now I've saved success, and it should take you directly back to, I think I'm enrolled in the copay. Make sure I'm in the HSA plan. So generally, I've already declined this, but it would pop up automatically like this. If I enroll in the HSA, the HSA plan, the health savings account will pop up and give me that option. If I enroll in the PPO plan, it'll get that screen that we saw a minute ago. It says you're not eligible for an HSA. Pretty intuitive. It should be easy. So as you can see here, I enrolled in employee only. So I have an annual contribution from the employer of $500. If it was family, I'd get $750. In this particular case, I want to add another $25. It's going to tell me this is my total amount per pay period. Again, I can save it. What I want to know, one thing I wanted to show you, I guess I forgot to show you on the previous screen, is again on the medical plan, in all the plans, on the right hand side, I've got a medical options overview. If you wanted to go ahead and click that up, it's a PDF. It'll come up here in a second. It's from the open enrollment guide that gives you a little bit of overview, again, of the different plan options. So pretty quickly and easily you can pull up the different plan options and walk through it with the employee if they have questions about it. So you can do it right here. And under each plan, I have the full open enrollment, the guide there. So if you want to pull that up too, it's pretty easy accessible. They requested us to go ahead and add all the accident, CI, hospital indemnity right after the medical, so you can discuss that right afterwards. So we'll go to that. I've already declined it. Generally, again, it'll just pop up right away. If I want the accident plan, it's $7.36 per pay period. If I want to add my children, $13.98. Accident brochure, right here. Again, just kind of review the different options. Close that. Back here. Okay, so I want to go ahead and enroll in this plan. My children, cool, successful. All right, now we keep moving along. Again, critical illness, we'll jump in there. I've got two, this is again a tobacco type benefit, so it's showing my non-tobacco. Again, if I need to, I can go back and review my answers and put me back in the tobacco status. And it should give me access then to the tobacco plans. There she is. Now I'm in the tobacco options. As I mentioned earlier, I've got two choices. I've got either the $10,000 benefit, employee only, $20,000 benefit, employee only. If I add my children, it's going to go ahead and just intuitively add my new cost for employee and children. And since he's tobacco, he gets all tobacco rates. Same with a spouse. If I have a spouse in here, it would do the exact same thing. Please review the benefit to find out what the wellness is. I believe it's $50. If I decline a plan, you'll see here that's going to give me a reason. This means nothing. Just pick something. Not interested in the cost. We're not using that data for any reason. And then there's the hospital confinement. Same deal. $1,500 benefit, $150 a day. Enroll in it if you'd like. And dental, straightforward. Vision, straightforward. Flexible spending accounts, just like the HSA. Oh, I'm enrolled in the HSA. Look at there. I can't enroll in the FSA. Thank you, Employee Navigator. Saved me there. If I was not enrolled in the HSA, it would give me that option. I should be able to enroll in the limited purpose. There we go. And put in how much I want to defer. Again, refer to my open enrollment guide if you have questions about flex spending and all that. So as you can see, as I'm wrapping up enrollment, I've gone through every benefit option, either chose or declined the plan. There's nothing under the forms tab. So now that I'm complete, you'll notice it takes me, if I was still back here on the benefits and reviewing benefits, let's say, and I just wanted to be done now. I can go ahead and enrollment summary. I've made an election in every one of the plans. This statement comes up. I acknowledge that I want to take this, that I want to enroll in all my benefits. I will agree to that for the employee. Now my enrollment status is complete. Yay. Got everything done. I roll down here. It's going to tell me all the plans I'm enrolled in. Blah, 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 blah. My dependents, what plans they are enrolled in, HSA, and all the benefits I declined and why. That's great. Shows me my total per pay period deduction. Unfortunately, Navigator does not break out pre or post tax, but my total deduction. And now we're ready to give them an election form. Go ahead and click print. There we go. There's my election form. So those of you that are seeing folks face to face, go ahead and print these off, and we're going to get a wet signature. For everybody that is doing call center, as we mentioned, just go ahead and save this to a PDF if you don't mind in the Dropbox folder called election forms, and save it with the file name I mentioned in the email, wireco underscore employee's last name test, whatever the employee's last name is. So wireco underscore employee's last name underscore your initials as the enroller. So that's the way we keep track of who you all saw. And once we're done, we are done. Next step, you'll go up to your name, drop down, click home, and we are back at it. Get to pick my next person. There you go. Very straightforward, very easy. Again, we try to set it up so most everything is intuitive as far as not enrolling anybody in the wrong plan. Did want to show you just real quickly, this is what the spreadsheet looks like that you're going to be receiving. That's going to show the employees what they were previously enrolled in. Looks cumbersome. Well, I'm going to take that out for you guys. But again, if I go find that employee, I'd recommend you can either search an employee's name. Who do we have there? Kirby. You could click that employee. Oh, that takes it off. You get the point. You can find an employee. You can sort. So, for instance, it's all listed here, like Jacob Hager, the first gentleman here. You'll go ahead and I'd recommend just highlight it when you pull them up. If they have questions, scroll over, say, okay, looks like he had the medical plan. He was on the base plan. So again, the base plan is the traditional plan now. The buy-up was there's a base buy-up in HSA. Looks like he has employee life, short-term disability. Again, we're not doing anything with that. If they have questions, that's all employer paid, so we're not messing with it. The employee life, is the voluntary. So you'll see